Welcome to another episode of the Growth Focus podcast, where we bring tech leaders and leaders in business from all around the world to share their time, their expertise, but more importantly, their insights. My name is Gary Lafferty, your host and CEO and founder of the Growth Focus Partnerships, where we elevate our clients' voices so they actually become the authority within their field, leveraging the power of webinars, podcasts, and presentations. This podcast is all about growth. It's all about growing your company, what works today, what doesn't work anymore. And the focus is on the future. As we draw to an end of the year, what should we be looking out for when it comes to marketing and growth for next year? So without further ado, let's get started and jump straight into this episode. I couldn't be more happy to have our guest on today. So without further ado, Margee, fantastic to have you here. Why don't you start off by introducing yourself, tell us who you are and what is it that you actually do?
Great. I'm Margee Moore, CEO of BigOrange Marketing. We're a digital marketing firm. We specialize in working with managed service providers, technology firms. We love to come in and help companies tell their stories through starting with websites. Make sure your website differentiates you, is built for keywords and AI search, so it gets found. And then we like to make sure we're doing consistent content, so Google and AI keep finding you for what you're selling and what people need from you. So we love to do that from a marketing perspective.
Well, that's fantastic. We're going to dive more into that as we delve into this episode. But let's find out a little bit about you if we can. Why don't you start off and just tell us what was your history and how did you end up doing what you are now doing?
Yes. So I have a lot of experience working in marketing and digital marketing firms, different agencies. And along the way, three friends and I were building websites for people, and we got together and said, let's build a special place that's a great place to work and also helps women. So provides the flexibility that women need and hopefully future ownership interest for women as well. That's one of our goals.
Gotcha. So let's dive into it and talk about growth. You've worked with builders, you've worked with MSPs, like you said, blue collar tech. What patterns are you seeing in how these businesses actually grow? I know that's a very wide open question at this stage, but what are the commonalities that you're seeing that helps these type of companies grow?
Yes, great question. So across all things, inbound marketing works. So being found for what you're selling. So constantly we're running the inbound methodology for people, which means, writing that content, answering the questions that the buyers have along their journeys, like how long does it take to change managed service providers? How do I find a managed service provider I like working with? Who are the top custom home builders in Utah? What's the best landscape firm for patios or, patios versus, decks? So the questions that people are asking along the buyer's journey are what we need to be creating content for on a website. And still true today, more true with AI search than ever, being found, helping, guiding, educating people when it comes to the questions they're having, showing up. That's getting found is the most important thing.
Well, that's really interesting because I know it's common sense, but as you well know, common sense and common practice are two different things generally. And you talk a lot about being found where the buyers are actually searching. And in an era where we have Google, where most people understand Google, which is a more of a retrieval engine, and now you've actually got AI that's out there. What has changed in your experience about the visibility in the AI era?
Great question. There's lots of different ways to look at creating visibility in the AI area. Think about the way you search on AI. You search top marketing firms that work with managed service providers, top custom home builder marketing firms. But you do more than that. You also search, like recently, a company found us because we also follow EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System. So they wanted to work with a company that was value aligned with them that does the EOS system. So they searched EOS. And I've been putting out a marketing plan that uses both EOS and OGSM. So I'm putting out content on EOS. And so AI found me for that reason, marketing firm plus EOS plus work with, this was a manufacturer. So those three things all together. And that's how AI found us. So those are even more interesting searches because people are further down the funnel of wanting to work with you by the time they book with you. So they're 23% more likely to convert through AI search than Google search of long ago. So these are very valuable searches that you want to show up for. AI searches.
Well, I want to talk about, you just open up so much there just in that one answer, Marcus. I want to just break it down a little bit from there. EOS, as soon as you said that, I mean, this is something we do not only for our own companies, but for our clients as well. I was trying to stop my head from moving. Is it behind me here? Is a
Right,
book
right.
there?
Books.
Yes, and I know we've got listeners and viewers who are nodding their head, going, "Yeah, that's what we use as well." But we also you also mentioned, it's about they're so further down the line, and this is something we talk about a lot. There's a lot of marketing that goes to the unaware. They're not even problem aware yet, let alone
Right.
solution aware. And if they are solution aware, they're not even solution provider aware. And what you're saying is that obviously, if you can actually get found for people who are gone past the problem aware, they've gone past the solution aware, now they're in solution provider aware, that's going to make it a lot easier for you. But what I really want you to help us explain here is that you just say, yeah, the difference between AI search and Google search, that you're looking for there. What is the differences for our viewers and our listeners so they may understand, oh, I didn't realize there was a difference.
Whenever we're talking Google search, we're talking about people just searching in their Google. When we're talking AI search, it could be any number of things. It's like, Chat GPT, it's, Copilot, it's Claude, it's a million different search engines. And we're bucketing all those together and calling that like AI search. Even your
Gotcha.
Google
Yeah.
search, when you're getting AI
Yeah,
overviews.
we see that as a combination, don't we? If you
Yeah.
go into
Right.
Google, there's an element of AI at the top if you're using Gemini, and likewise. But yes, I mean, I know I'm actually using and transferring. It's old muscle memory; it's hard to break. But I am definitely over the last 6 months started moving more to chat and asking the questions for searches rather than, because then otherwise I have to do most of the work in Google. If I go searching in, I've got to search for all the pages, whereas chat is giving me pretty much the answers I'm looking for, and then I have to do that element of final searching.
Agree. Totally. Yes, definitely. A lot of people are switching to more AI search. Like it's rapidly escalating. Like, yeah, like the number. So through HubSpot analytics, you can now see for the last 2 months, the searches that are coming from AI search, it's finally separating them, AI search from just referral traffic. And it's just rapidly escalating. I think our AI search numbers that came through, I would say quadrupled from the month prior. And then the quality of the marketing qualified leads coming onto our plate is also going way up because they already, they know what we do. They've already spent time on our website. So that's going up too. So I would say it's rapidly escalating.
Yeah, I mean, to quadruple month from month on a
Mhm.
month, that is unbelievable, really. That is
Yeah.
such a dramatic increase. Without going too much into the woods here, and how does one become a little bit more AI searchable as opposed to the old school of Google searchable?
One way to think about it is that Marcus Sheridan, they ask you answer, writing content for the questions that people are asking, because they're asking AI those questions now. Then also think long tail searches, like think about all the things that you do in the longer tail searches, along with the cities you serve, if you're a local service area type of business. Just writing that content for the way people are searching. I think a great way to start is reverse engineer search yourself. Like, how would someone search for you? Like, top MSP firms, Cincinnati, top MSP marketing firms, Cincinnati, top builder marketing firms in the US, top builder marketing firms that also practice StoryBrand. So, think about all the things that are your attributes or your differentiators and make sure you're writing content about it. Also, make sure this is on your homepage as well. So, if you've won an award for anything, get that on your homepage. So now you're an award winning, you know, so uh, if you're winning like a top home builder at a particular home builder show, that's an award. Get that on your website. That matters. It's a current and it's award. So get that stuff up.
So yeah, those are very important things, and I think that this is what, especially within tech, and I know you work with a lot of MSPs. Self celebration is really hard for most tech people. They do tend to do product led and service led, but then when it actually comes to them and their awards, it's really hard to put them into the spotlight. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I've been saying that for a long time now. It says,
Yeah.
listen, go and sing it from the hilltops. You've earned it.
Yeah.
Then you should be there.
Yeah.
So that being said, what do you think MSPs and industrial businesses really misunderstand most about modern day marketing?
It has changed substantially. I think the worst mistake is when companies like think they can do it themselves. Like AI has put all these writing tools in your hand now, and that's great. But ready, aim, fire, you need a strategy and you need to be working against a plan. Like, what are the keywords you're trying to hit? Where do you need to be seen as an authority? Don't just be generating content. So I think doing it yourself is a big mistake. Manufacturing, industrial firms, not doing it all is a big mistake. Like relying on referral business way too long, not really putting in place the things you need to scale. That would be the biggest mistake for manufacturing firms.
Do you know what? There's another thing you just brought up there that was sort of that certainly reminded me. It's consistency. Again, we
Yes.
hear that a lot, but again, it's hearing it and doing it are two different things.
Yep.
What's your insights that you could share with us when it comes? Because we see this, especially within the tech industry, within the engineering industry, they give it a bash, that they try it and they go, that didn't work. And then they stop and they go, this doesn't work all the time. What's your thoughts on that? What's the mindset shift that needs to happen?
You brought up something very funny. I love it when like manufacturing firms or some firms of any kind come to me and say, nobody ever finds me through my website. I don't need a website. And you're like, that's exactly the opposite of what you should be thinking. Nobody is finding you through your website because your website's not optimized. It's not credible, that kind of thing. So that you just totally sidetracked me. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And I lost the question. I lost the
No,
question.
so yeah, again, these are great things that people that MSPs and businesses tend to do wrong. It's their misunderstanding about
Yes.
modern day marketing. And we were
Yes.
talking about consistency, and the
Yeah.
fact that these guys are trying stuff. They're doing a
Yeah.
shot in the dark. They might get an agency here. They might do something else. They might do email marketing. They might do a bit of SEO. And they go, nope, doesn't work. And then they just stop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're just wondering why it doesn't work. What mindset shift, in your opinion, has to happen with these leaders and these founders to get
Yes.
past this shot in the dark, knee-jerk reaction, once a quarter, mentalities?
You've got to give it time. If your website currently has like 18 keywords and you contact a marketing firm to redo your website, add more keywords and do consistent content, you got to give it time. You got to give it 6 months to 9 months to get traction. Because if you're starting from 18 keywords, nobody's finding you for anything. So first you need to get the traffic up. You need to get found. You need to have, the words you need to be found for: IT support, Cincinnati, cybersecurity, Cincinnati, AI consulting, Cincinnati. So you need to start getting up and it takes time. It's not magic. You have to displace someone else. So someone else is being found today. You need to get the keywords up there and the credibility and the time on site and people interacting with your site to displace someone else to get that space. So you just really, really have to give it time. So giving it time is the biggest mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not doing it properly. And I love two things I want to bring up there with you is, as you said, it's a displacement. That's not something that most people think of. They just think very internally, this is what we want. This is what we want to go. And this is where we want to be seen. But actually, it is a pecking order. Someone's been there a lot longer than you. They've got the words right a lot longer than you. And you've literally got to knock them off their little pedestal one at a time, very much like a league table. That's got to be done from there. But the other thing I want to just share with you and discuss with you is, there be listeners on this show who are global. Well, let's just take the United States for argument's sake. What happens if a company like an MSP is not just statewide? They're national. You mentioned, in Cincinnati or in Utah or whatever.
Yeah.
What should they be doing if they're more of a national company rather than a state company?
Very intentionally going after each city one by one, because it is a local service area business. Like, an MSP in Cincinnati serves Cincinnati. Then you want to go to Columbus. You are trying to win people in Columbus, and you want to be sort of part of that community for people to know, like, and trust you. So each city intentionally, don't just say, hold on, let me tell this person, I'll call him back. So you don't just sort of say, oh, now I'm all of Ohio. You have to say, okay, I'm in Cincinnati, I'm going after Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is made up of suburbs like Blue Ash, Westchester. So you have to be well found in all of those. Then I'm going to go after Columbus. Then I'm going to go after Indianapolis. So you have to do it with intention. And you couldn't just say all of Ohio, because nobody's searching IT support Ohio. They're searching maybe Cincinnati or Columbus, but they're never searching like that other way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really
Mike.
intentional.
Well, let's shift a little bit. I want to shift track a little bit here. And I know that you use StoryBrand a lot.
Yeah.
So StoryBrand is at the heart of your messaging work. Number one, could you please explain to us what StoryBrand is? And what is one mistake most tech firms make when it comes to telling their story?
Yeah, great question. So, StoryBrand is all about the customer is the hero of the story. You are the guide. You're not the hero of the story. Nobody cares that you found your grandfather founded the company 20 years ago. They care about their problems and how you help them solve their problems and reach their goals. So that's the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake that a lot of technology firms makes is jargon, like talking endpoints and talking, all kinds of technology and not talking about the business value, the business, how you're going to help that business person solve their challenges, how you're going to make life easier for them, how you're going to increase uptime, how you're going to help their business make more money. So that jargon is a thing to avoid. Another thing from StoryBrand, very helpful, is called the caveman test. Could a caveman come to your website, know what you are selling, how it benefits him or her, and then how they buy it? So keep it clear. We're selling this, 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 and this. We're selling these 7 things. We're not selling 50,000 things. We're selling these 7 things. This is how you can buy it. Because you have to think about your buyers coming to your website. They're like a CEO of a whole different kind of company. They don't know jargon. They don't know what of these 20 different services they need. They know they just need their people to have their computers taken care of, have a great onboarding experience, help them run their business, help them scale. That's what they're looking for. So StoryBrand really gets to that.
Yeah, and I think this is the key thing. I mean, we use StoryBrand a lot as well, as you know. And it isn't. You are not the hero, and this is the thing that
Hmm.
you kick off with. That you're not the hero. The client is the hero. You're the guide. It's like the Luke Skywalker and the Yoda. They're the two different things all the time. And once you understand that, your storytelling becomes a lot more acceptable to the audience,
Hmm.
doesn't it? And,
Yep.
and to your
Yep.
prospects.
Yep.
So again, let's move more on to SEO and sales conversion. I know this is something
Yep.
that you
Yep.
guys do as well. You've worked with both the SEO and then the sales conversion, SEO to get the people to raise their hands and obviously the sales conversion, getting them to become clients. Where would you say is the biggest leak in most company funnels? They've done the hard work. They've got people into their company. They've said, yes, I want to know more. And then it's like a bucket. They just want to, because one of the things to put this into context, I'm constantly saying, you don't need more leads sometimes. You just need to fix the holes in your bucket, and then once you've done that, then put more leads in. But where would you see is the biggest leak in most companies' funnels?
Yes, very much not closing up and asking for the sale and asking for the sale. Like a lot of people just think, oh, I put the deal out there and then I don't follow up, is what we see. And it's true story. I had gotten an estimate for a fence and I knew that prices were going up and I was definitely needed a fence and I would have bought from that company if they had followed up with me one time. Even though the price was like crazy high, it was like $5,000 for a tiny fence. I'm like, I'm going to buy it because I need it and I know it's going up. They never reached out again. So same with, the people we work with is the hot lead follow up. You put the proposal out in front of them, follow up, follow up, follow up. Share more case studies, share more stories of people you helped, share more assets. Like here's a marketing plan, but for your company, like we would share, here's a marketing plan, here's how we create your marketing plan. So share more things of value. Keep following up to grow their reasons to want to work with you. That's, I think, the biggest hole in the bucket.
Yeah, I think, and again, just by you saying that, it just resonates around in my brain all the time. It's not about you again. It isn't about you. It isn't about how great we are and how great our service is. It is the outcome they're looking for, and
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
problem that you can solve for them, and
Mhm.
talk to that, because that's effectively why they were searching for you in the first place, because they
Yep.
have an issue that they want solving. And I see this time and time again. You're right. They don't follow up. We all know that sometimes it takes up to 7, 10 times before someone is ready to buy. But
Yeah.
they then talk about, we're so great, we're so
Yeah.
fantastic,
Yeah.
this is what we should do, and it's not the right way. So
Yeah.
I want to do something very different here, and I would like you to give us a little peek behind the curtain. So what's working surprisingly well now out there that no one's really talking about?
Okay, great question. New for 2020, not new, but something more that's really changing in marketing that you really got to layer on is outbound. Outbound sales. There's so many tools now that are able to show who's in market looking for what you're selling. So you have like maybe 10 clients of your target in a city. Well, only like 2% at a time are looking for what you're selling, looking to change partners or looking for a new service. So when they are looking, they're sending signals, 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 signals. So there's tools like Apollo, Sixth Sense, all of these types of tools that are now able to not only build you audience lists, but build you the people that are searching for website design, marketing. So that's in our space, but in everyone's space, high intent is now something that people should be focusing on. So we did recently, we've been working at it. We build lists, we build high intent lists. We have email sequences that we send out through HubSpot. So you need a really good CRM system too. You need a CRM system, keep all your leads in one place, figure out what they're doing. So we build these lists every week. We put them in a drip and we nurture them. We share case studies, we share assets, we share articles, and then nurture them till they book a meeting with us and bubble up. And that is working. It takes consistency. It takes doing it. It takes paying attention to them too, like who's bubbling up, and okay, time to reach out to them because they clicked the email twice or they opened it X number of times. Okay, they're bubbling up. Get on the phone, get them booked, that kind of thing. So that's,
Yeah.
I think, new to a lot of people, the intent tools
It
that are out
is.
there.
It is. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, very much the show that, and I just want to clarify this when you're talking about nurturing people via email and via list, are you talking about a cold email list or are you talking about a warm email list? What exactly? I'd love the listeners here to make sure they got it right and not, fall foul of
Yeah.
any spamming laws.
Cold emails aren't going to convert. These are, I would call them a little warmer because they're high intent. They're searching. So they are cold to us, like they don't know us. So we do have to send sales sequences following appropriate rules that HubSpot puts in place. So we send outbound sales sequences, and then we also seek to connect with them on LinkedIn, where people are expecting to be connected with on LinkedIn. And we say very transparently, we see you're looking for web design or marketing support, or we say, like, our tools told us you're looking for web design and marketing support. We work with managed service providers and let us know if you want to quote. And so we're being very transparent. We're not like being phony. And a lot of people do connect and we follow up and say, or you want help? Or, hey, we don't need help right now. We're like, okay, sorry, somebody sent the wrong signals. And so it's about, building, connecting with people and, getting to know more people and paying attention. What are they really doing?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Thanks for clarifying that one. With regards, I'm going to dial it back to storytelling just a little bit. It's one of my great things. I love the fact of storytelling, especially when you're doing presentations and webinars. Storytelling is very, very important. And I know you've mentioned, you love to help American businesses prosper through
Yeah.
storytelling. But one of the challenges that the tech industry has that we hear constantly is authenticity, trust. It's harder to build trust. It's harder to get the message out because of the lack of authenticity. And we know storytelling helps with that.
Right.
But one of the challenges, and I'd love your insights on this, one of the challenges isn't necessarily people being good or bad at storytelling. It's the fact that there's so much of AI generated stuff out there that, people are almost turning down testimonials from people and case studies that are just AI generated and not even real anymore. So
Yeah.
there is this general distrust. You can't blame the public
Right.
and the other companies. There is a general distrust. What are your insights on this one, Margaret? Or what piece of advice would you give to people who think, well, how can I compete against AI when it comes to storytelling and getting my message across?
Yeah. So, there is a lot of AI noise out there. One of the small tactics we're telling most people to start doing, if you're not already, is YouTube short series. So you're an expert in, like, I'm an expert in marketing. Just use your iPhone and just be recording short little videos. Those questions that people are asking you in sales calls, like, do I really need a marketing firm with AI? Write those questions down, and that's what you could be recording little 1-minute videos on. Always 1 minute would be great. And then, like a marketing firm working with you, we can take that and, that has your authentic voice on it. We also do more interviews, subject matter expert interview based content to pull the stories out and then turn them into content. We're building AI brand portals, if you will, using Claude. So we're capturing everything about you. Every time we have a meeting with you and you tell us things like, hey, we don't do cabling, We don't do this, we do these. We're trying to capture everything about you. So we're building bumper rails, but we're also capturing your real voice. So when you're telling stories, there's your voice, and we can pull firsthand quotes from some of those subject matter expert interviews. So that's one way I think to really tell authentic stories. And you know what? I also tell people is a photo shoot is super cheap. Like it's like $300 through a tool called Snapper or Thumbtack. Get some real authentic images of your team. If you're not normally in an office together, have a luncheon. Get everybody to like it doesn't even have to be your office. Get everybody to a shared co-working space. Take photos. Take real photos of your team.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing. It is in a world where there's so much AI generation, go extra mile in being real. Show your voice, I love that what you said there, about real life quotes. It's from your mouth, as a
Yep.
CEO or
Yep.
from the leader. These are my quotes that are coming out. Absolutely love that. Okay, I've got one final question for you, Margie. You're looking ahead. It's 2026. Number one, what excites you the most about the forthcoming year, and what worries you the most when it comes to sales and marketing?
Yeah, I would say like AI is the answer to both of those. It's exciting, but it's also like a threat to, people thinking they can do it themselves and then adding to more of the AI garbage noise. So, AI very much excites us. I'm excited really to roll out these brand portals to all of our clients so they understand what we're doing and how we're capturing them and their stories, and doing more of those subject matter expert interviews, adding that in, getting people to say it's worth your time. You definitely want to schedule this, even though you're busy. It's definitely worth your time, or schedule us into the cybersecurity expert on your team, or schedule us into, schedule it talking to real people. And talking to real people just excites me. I get really excited to get to know people and chat.
Yeah, I know. This is what I do. I do this. I get to meet people like you and chat people with people like you as well. It's a fantastic way to get to know people. Well, let's not. I lied a little bit when I said your last question. This is actually your last question. If you can go back and give young Margie one piece of advice about
Uh,
growth, success, building a business, what would it be and why?
I guess I would say, I guess that would be what I would say. Just keep learning things. A career is long. You're going to do a lot of things. Like my first beginning of the career was I was a programmer. So I programmed, but I also was an accounting degree. So I've done finances as well, which all prepares you for building websites and running a business. A career is long. You're going to change. You're going to learn a lot of things. You're going to do a lot of things. Just keep learning. I guess I'd say that.
I think that's a fantastic piece of advice to leave. So, Margie, if people want to contact you, maybe potentially work with you or learn more about you, what's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, our website's BigOrange Marketing, and you can always book a meeting right there. We're trying to provide a lot of value in that meeting. Like we'll look at your website and give you some tips and stuff like that. Not always trying to sell you, but give you some tips and stuff like that as well.
Well, I'll make sure those links are in their show notes so people can use it straight away. So all
Thank
that
you.
remains me to say is thank you very much, Mark, for being our guest today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. And thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Thank you, Gary.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us again for another episode of the Growth Focus podcast, helping your business grow into the new year and beyond. Now, like always, if Margie has said something that you thought that's really interesting, make sure you make sure you comment so other people can see that as well. But more importantly, you've heard this before from me, is that we grow by standing on the shoulders of giants, of leaders like Margie and the others. So please make sure that you share episodes like this with others so that we can all grow together. So until next time, keep working smart. More importantly, please be profitable, and we shall see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.